Okay, so I was gonna do this when I got home with like the proper lighting, the proper setting, getting comfortable, everything, but I'm actually not going home and I don't want to wait till tomorrow because I want to get it out while I'm still in the moment, while things has just happened. I need to work on my stuttering. So I just came from yoga. I'm still in the parking lot and I just had the best, like that was spiritually guided. That meditation and the people that I met was so divine because today I feel like a outfit of the week. Okay guys, so now that I'm home, I can definitely go into more depth as to what I was saying about just imposter syndrome and how I'm embracing these new beginnings. So the month of May has been extremely hard for me. I had been feeling just extremely depressed, no motivation. I would go to bed at 6 p.m. and not wake up until about 7 a.m. like when it was time for me to go to work the very next day. And I was struggling with this because I'm like, am I going to another manic episode, or is this astrological? Am I going to start my period? But I'm like, no, it can't be my period because it's lasting entirely too long. So I just kind of acknowledged what it was and figured, if I acknowledge it, then I could work through it. And the energy was not coming back. So I just kind of said, you know what, I'm just burnt out. I did so much last year. I did so much at the beginning of this year, having 2 jobs. And now I'm just kind of taking a break and I just feel burnt out. But I just had to kind of stop making excuses for myself and acknowledge it for what it was. And I have been dealing with depression since childhood. I've been on meds in my childhood. I've been to therapists, and anybody who needs therapy, I 110% recommend that you go, because pride is the devil. Pride is what made me want to get off of them and other people's opinions. So it's not like I have an issue taking the meds, it's other people's opinions, and it's other people that have an issue with me taking them, and the commentary that stops me from wanting to give myself self-love. And that self-love can be anything. I know a lot of people would be like, well, why do you need to drug yourself to be happy? And it's so much more than that. It's let me stabilize myself, and I'm not going to stop myself from stabilizing myself because you disagree with it. So the whole month of May, that's what was going through my head. And I work at a behavioral health job, which is ironic. I thought that this would be the perfect job for me. I've been doing this for a few years now. I'm a registered behavior technician, so I work with autistic children, and then I also work with at a high school where these high schoolers have behavioral issues, and that is so fucking stressful. Like, that is so stressful because they're coming and they're using us as their punching bags. Their home life isn't the best, which I completely understand, but then they come and they take it all out on us. And towards the end, I had to start telling them, like, I right now, I can't hold space for both you and me. Like, I got through this whole year. I was there for these kids every single day, going above and beyond for these kids. And then once my own mental health started draining me, and I truly feel like because they were depressed and I was around them all the time, and I was also in the detention hall where they would come in and be mad, and it was just a room, like a small room with messed up paint where there was no windows, nothing. And I had to just sit in that room with them while they're angry and emotional and beating up walls and crying. And the empath in me just was just absorbing all of that, and I couldn't carry it anymore. So I was just telling my boyfriend and myself, like, I'm sick and tired of doing a job that does not fulfill me anymore. So I was like, once this contract is up, I'm going to leave behavioral health, and I need to take care of myself. And I went all the way to Colombia in 2020 and got my yoga certification. And I was like, I want to get a job as a yoga instructor. But it was kind of like a pipe dream, even though I had the certification, because when I looked around in the yoga studios, none of the instructors looked like me. They all seemed like they wanted to hire a specific type. So I got discouraged, and I was like, well, my body is actually, I've let myself go, and I don't have blonde hair, and they have like this stigma as to what they wanted their instructors to look like in the studios. So I just didn't apply, and I just thought, like, okay, that's out of the question. I would have to do personal lessons. So fast forward, I need a summer job. Summer comes around, and I'm like in a yoga class, and I'm doing meditation, and I'm like, Lord, higher self, spirit guides, please give me the answers. And I felt my spirit guides come around from behind me and like wrap their arms around me and like embrace me. And then my higher self was sitting in front of me, and she was like, do you trust me? Like, you got this. You're freaking out that you don't have a summer job, but like, you got this, but you have to like trust me. And I was like, okay. I just sat like this as if I was, ready to receive. And I was just nodding, and I was like, okay, like, take the wheel. I trust you, higher self, because obviously you're already there. You've already made it. So 2 weeks later, the same day that I had my last day of my job is the same day that, the very next day I got hired as a yoga instructor. She called me and it's like, I saw you put your application in a few months ago and I really need an instructor. Can you come in and do your onboarding paper? And I'm like, oh shit. So I'm like, yeah, I can. So I go down there and I do my onboarding paper. And she's like, I'm going to give you 5 classes a week. And the last instructor was really good. Everybody loved her and they keep asking for her back. So it's like big shoes to fill. And I'm like, okay, that's a lot of pressure, but I'm certified. I practiced this myself. I know what I'm doing. I had to keep telling myself that because Lord knows I was fucking scared. I was like, oh shit. And that's when those thoughts started coming up. But that same day I went to meditation and ended up being able to talk to like-minded people. What I really love about this is that Spirit literally just like, once I put full faith in them, just handed everything to me, like just dropped it in my lap. That job ended. That same day, I found a studio that I really liked. It was more meditational and Kundalini yoga, as opposed to like going into this hot yoga and it's all corporate style and just everything just seems like gymish. Like this one was so wholesome and healing and comforting, and the setup of it was just beautiful. I've never seen a studio like this, if you can even call it a studio. And so I was like, oh, this is nice that I kind of finally found like my home studio where I can come every day, finally. And then the people that were there were talking about medication, because after the session, she had put out like these nice, like, oranges and nuts and water, lemon waters and stuff. And we all sat on these big beanbag chairs and just like talked. And we all talked about, yes, you can be medicated and you can also be spiritual, and you can also do yoga, like do whatever your coping style is. Because before I had went to fill out my yoga paperwork, I had stopped at the doctor's office. I had an appointment and I said, enough is enough. Like, I've prayed about it, I've meditated on it, and I really feel like I want to get back on my medication. And I know that there's this stigma around it, like, oh, you're on meds, like, oh, you're crazy. No, I'm someone that struggles occasionally with staying optimistic. And yes, I do journal, and I do pray, and I do my yoga and my meditation, and sometimes that's just not enough. And we can take Western medicine and our spirituality and combine them both together and still come up with something that works for us, right? So I've decided to just do it. I said, fuck it, and I did it. And I love that the same day that I was prescribed that medication is the same day that all of these seekers were sitting around me saying like, yes, oh, I'm also on medication. Oh yes, I'm also on medication. And there was no stigma behind it, and there was no no ill speaking of it. It was just very supportive. And I feel like that's why people have a hard time healing, because of stigmas and because of the opinions that people so boldly throw at everybody. I don't know when people started getting comfortable crossing those boundaries, and I don't know when people started just being okay with just, putting their opinions on other people's lives, but that's what held me back for a long time. And I started doing it to myself, and I'm just like, you know what? Enough is enough. I need to take reign of my own life. I'm not going to do anything that no longer serves me. If I need medication to help me get out of bed in the morning and even make it to the practice, if I need a little bit more push just to hold space for myself, then that is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do it fearlessly, and I'm going to do it relentlessly, and I'm going to do it guilt-free. So I definitely do feel like you can be spiritual and be on medication if needed. And it's not like you're on I don't know, some people are on high doses. Like, everybody's doses are different. Mine is very minimal, but we do live in a very toxic environment. And I am an empath, and it is hard to work the kind of job that I work without, feeling so much emotions as it is. But Spirit has allowed me to finally, and like just finally step into what I prayed for. I just thought that it was just something that I couldn't obtain, and then within a few weeks it happened. And I've had my certification for 2 years, and I did feel imposter syndrome because I did, when I was posting about it a lot, people would come into my inbox, oh, do you have any remedies for this? And do you have any, do you know what crystals I should use for X, Y, and Z? Oh, I feel this in my lower back. Can you give me a yoga flow that will help that? And I'm just like, okay, I'm still learning myself. This is very overwhelming. I don't have all the answers. People were asking me, oh, how do you do your full moon rituals? And things such as that. And I just I started feeling the imposter syndrome again. And I said, you know what, I'm going to take a step back from helping other people and focus on myself. So when I got this job as a yoga instructor, I was like, gosh, like, I haven't really been teaching. I am outdated, but I had to remind myself, like, Spirit handed this to me. Spirit would not have given it to me if I wasn't ready. And if I fail at this, or if nobody shows up to my class, that's an experience. And if I handle that with grace, then I will get rewarded again. I'm going to still learn something again. Embarrassment and setbacks and hesitation, that's all a part of the journey. So I'm just going to be here to enjoy the journey. And even now, like, making a YouTube video about it, and I'm just like, I would have never in a million years just got on camera and be like, hey everybody, I'm on medication, because I was so embarrassed of it. But now that I'm older, I'm like, I don't got time to be embarrassed. I don't got time to let other people's opinions have that much hold on my life. Like, everybody had me in a fucking chokehold listening to what other people thought that I should do, or how I should act, or what I should say. I'm just like, I don't have time to you know, put my healing on the back burner because I'm shy, or because my throat chakra was too blocked to say, like, nah, fuck it, I need this, or because my ego was getting in the way. From here on out, I'm just like, I need to live without pride and without ego, because that has done nothing for me, absolutely nothing for me. So that is all I wanted to say. I'm on my way to another meditation class tonight. I'm actually doing 14 days of meditation to see what the end results will be. I've been vlogging that, so watch my next video and just see, like, the results for that. I usually wanted to put more into the video, so I'm not just sitting here talking, but I felt compelled to just sit down and talk and tell you guys all about my experience, because if you guys are on medication, you guys were like, how do I be spiritual? How am I a healer if I am not fully healed? It's just all a part of the journey. And a pro tip, lots of people who are healers in spirituality are people who have had really rough childhoods, or people who have been told, like, oh, you're bipolar, you're diagnosed with anxiety, you're diagnosed with this. Lots of those people end up becoming healers because we have a very vast understanding of what it's like to feel those, and we're able to help those people more. So thank you for watching my video, guys, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one.